Hello and welcome to Redis Presents Real-Time Realities in association with ETCIO. Today I am thrilled to welcome Mahesh Ramamurthy, CIO, Yes Bank. Let's go and have an interesting conversation with Mahesh about the digital innovation transformation he is driving at Yes Bank. Thank you so much, Mahesh, for joining us today on this show. We are super excited to have you here.
Thank you, Samir. Really appreciate it, and good to have you across on the show.
Can you please take us through your journey of these last 3 decades? How have this journey been? What are those milestones when you have seen at the start and where we are right now in terms of the digital innovation? Just wanted to understand your thoughts. What is that is driving you tech strategy at Yes Bank?
Now, over the last 3 decades, I've had the opportunity to set up 8 banks from scratch. And that essentially gives a huge perspective. And this perspective is all about in terms of how tech has evolved itself and how best can you adopt and adapt technology to enhance experiences, to drive better utilization, efficiencies. I think technology in itself has evolved significantly from where we were way back in the 90s to 2000s. The processes probably have also evolved, and so has the adoption of digital. What's really essential to understand is how technology can fit into in terms of the expectations of various customers. How can it drive efficiencies, which means can it give more for the same or less? Can it drive better risk management? Because as you get more digital, one of the bigger aspects is risk management. So how well can you manage digital risk management? And more importantly, in terms of how you manage data. I think the key pillars that you really work upon, and as you continue to evolve in terms of the technology implementations and adaptations, it's very important to keep your eyes and ears open to say what best fits the organization's strategy.
Another point is when we are having this rich legacy of your experience and then bringing that experience and core to Yes Bank's transformation. And when we say Yes Bank's transformation, there could be, as you rightly said, risk and compliance is there. Trust is the most important factor when we come to banking industry or financial services. How do you, see a balance between the risk compliance, the trust piece of it, and driving innovation at the same time?
I think what is important, and coming back a bit to Yes, we've always in the past been known as a bank which has adopted digital and digital tech to be able to expand its reach. While we in the past has been a corporate-led bank with a lot of fintech partnerships to use its payment rails, we've now pivoted to becoming a fairly retail bank, retaining the corporate flavor, but at the same time using digital tech to not just expand its footprint from a digital payment rails, but also in terms of how we use digital tech as well as risk management to reach out to its customers, to create better experiences, and also to make sure that database pricing and product information is available. I think that's a big shift that we've done. The journey is still ongoing. It's never complete, but that's the pivot. Just to name a few is, today as Yes Bank, we power in excess of 55% of the acquiring UPI transactions.
Wow.
And which is probably one of the most significant. We are the top 2 in the banking industry in terms of NEFT processing and RTGS processing, which is not known to many, which means that we today are the biggest in terms of, I would say, payment processing.
Yeah.
And by that, we are also national critical infrastructure, which means as an organization, as a bank, it's recognized that we are one of the leading players in digital payments. And that essentially sets the tone for where we are expanding our footprints for.
Mahesh, a very important question. What led you think that Redis is a critical part of your transformation journey, innovation?
I think it's a very important question. I think you asked a very key one. If you look at the bank, we one of the largest acquirers of payment transactions.
Yeah.
And we had embarked upon an ask in terms of how do we hollow out the core. So we were evaluating options. Not just in terms of speed of transactions, how do we process more at a very faster pace? How do we process it consistently?
Yeah.
And more importantly, how we service our internal employees. I think when we looked at all the options on the table, we narrowed down through a very structured proof of concept. I think Redis hit the bullseye in a few areas. And then we started off. I think we started small. Proof of concepts were small. Then we started our journey into Transaction Payment Hub, into Iris, our mobile app, and then eventually to our CRMs. I think clearly we have now evolved from being a vendor to a partner, and also from being a pusher technology to puller technology within the organization. I think, thank you, Samir. I think it's a great partnership with Redis, and hopefully we scale beyond. That's where we should be.
Absolutely, Mahesh. Thank you so much. I would like to, understand your view from a futuristic, standpoint. What we are doing right now and what we want to do in future with Redis, because GenAI is there. It's real. We spoke about it. Redis has got GenAI capabilities. Semantic caching is there, and then other capabilities of Redis, which we are powering our customers across the globe. How do you see Redis as a critical partner in your journey on the GenAI piece?
Where Redis can play a lot of role, and this is where our way forward architectural design is going to evolve, is in terms of using data much better. We right now embarking on a new architecture design for our entire data lakehouse and data warehouse.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Redis's capability, as you rightly said, how do you bring all the data in the front to be able to make the queries as well as I would say the ML models work much more swiftly is going to be very key. And to me, I think more than generative AI, I think the way I would like to really use Redis, using the data structures and caching on the data, is going to be around fraud and risk management. I think more than the generative, it is here that any financial organizations can actually benefit from the way Redis today is positioned. And to me, I think that's where even any organization should look at making use of Redis much more effective in its entire journey. I think that's where I would like to put my bets on.
As a leader, 34 years of experience, what do you think, key tenets or a message you would like to give to our audience who are, young budding leaders? How do they put their bets? How do they stitch their strategy, their ideas, their thoughts on, driving innovation, driving digital transformation? How do you think messaging should go to them that these are few areas where you should do and these are areas where you should not do, and putting guardrails around it?
It is not an easy answer. But I think where innovation is imperative. Not innovating will set you back. So obviously, it is important for any CIOs or budding technology entrepreneurs, or for the matter technologists, to adopt or adapt to new technology, and to use that to innovate in their respective fields, not just in financial services, healthcare, name it, manufacturing. What is important is to understand at what point in time and how do you define your critical success factors. Not achieving it, you should fail fast. The approach to fail fast is going to be very, very key. And at what cost? Because at the end of the day, everything is money. So how do we innovate? How do you keep it small but focused? How do you make a scalable model for it? How do you really look at making a story work at the end of it? That's going to be very important. And then what value proposition that your story really brings to the organization is going to be very important. Last but not the least is about making sure that how well do you manage data? Because all the new technologies use a lot of data. But within the guardrails, as you rightly said, of the expectations from the regulators in the financial services or in the capital markets or every insurance, everywhere there's a regulator. So we have to make sure that data isn't compromised. So to be able to innovate within that guardrails and while keeping your scalability models, looking at how new tech is applicable is going to be very, very key. Simple messages, innovate. Not innovating is no longer an option, but being able to adapt, being able to collaborate with partners and able to figure out what's your success factors. Do a right storytelling, because a lot of technology guys don't know the art of storytelling. So storytelling is very important. And then finally, in creating the value proposition and looking at in investing and imbibing it into the ecosystem. That's my simple messages that I would put in.
Thank you, Mahesh. Thank you so much for your insights. This has really helped us, or going to help our audiences in understanding how Yes Bank is driving this digital transformation for its customers. I am one of that customer. This was Mahesh Ramamurthy, CIO Yes Bank. He guided us with his insights. With that, we are signing off. I am Samir Dhamne, head of BFSI, Redis.